Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 4th of December 2013. Not that I would know that because life has just been a bit of a blur, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit and why the video schedule for the next week or two may not be as, I suppose, as stacked as it has been. Just a sort of whole part of going to university and being busy. But anyway, for the actual news, which is no doubt what you're here for, well, we have a new mount that has been added to the 5.4.2 PTR, and it's called the Iron Skyreaver. I think it's the Iron Skyreaver, yes. Anyway, it is a very cool mount, and it's a chimera, so that kind of two-headed style thing that you would, I suppose, come to expect. And when you compare it to the chimera style things in the game at the minute, far higher detail and quality and that sort of thing. It's definitely interesting looking. And, well, Iron Warbringer, this is the Iron Horde. This is one of their mounts. So, I think a lot of the buzz at the minute is that this could actually be a, like a collector's edition mount for the new expansion. And personally, that is where I am putting my bets too. I think that makes absolute sense. In terms of the mount itself, I think both of the heads look, well, I suppose they actually look the same. I guess that's fair enough. They could have went the route of making them kind of, like, one head have a different personality to the other, but perhaps that wouldn't work. I think a lot of the time with two-headed things, like, where their neck splits always looks weird, and once again in this mount, I think that does look weird. I like the way they're kind of clad in iron and armor, and they have a freaking exhaust pipe on them with two big-ass, big motor thingies. So overall, I think this mount's really cool, and especially the tail as well. I like the way it's got the big, I don't really know what they are actually called, so I'm going to call it a big whacker thingy, which is great for whacking things. Overall, a very nice mount. Definitely fits Horde players, I suppose, a little bit better than Alliance, but I don't really care because it's a mount and it looks cool. And yeah, I mean, if Warlords is coming out early summer, late spring, then I suppose we'll be getting our hands on this soon enough. In terms of the other pet-related thing, well, Predator Mount-related thing, they added in a new Moonkin Hat Sling. This is, in fact, the exact same as the old Moonkin Hat Sling. The only difference is that previously there was an Alliance and a Horde version of the item. This one is just a cross-faction version. So, yeah, if you got excited about a new Moonkin pet, I'm afraid there really isn't anything there. Now, the next thing is Karazhan. Well, let's just read this. Phase 2801, Medivh's Big Birthday Bash, renamed to Karazhan 2 Electric Boogaloo. So, yeah, back when it was turned to Medivh's Big Birthday Bash, I did, in passing, sort of think, yeah, I think, you know, this is just dicking around with data miners, right? I mean, it's got to be, and yes, it is. I very much doubt that Karazhan 2 Electric Boogaloo will happen in the game, but that said, they have been working on a Karazhan phase, so would I take this as a direct confirmation that there is nothing Karazhan related going on? No. I just think that they're having a bit of fun with data miners, and really, this doesn't have any bearing on what we would ultimately see from this phase 2801. In terms of other PTR stuff, there really isn't anything, and in terms of other news, there isn't anything, but it's okay, because I'm going to talk about the video schedule, and then I actually have two very interesting Q&A questions. One issue about the Q&As, I ended up losing the Word document with all the questions, but the nice thing is, I'm going to have the joyous task of going through the last 5 or 6 Q&A videos and things like that, and reassembling the list, so that'll be fun. But in terms of videos, well, essentially, we have a pretty large project coming in. We actually have two. One of them's small, and it's for next Monday, and it's just a solo thing. And the next one is making a game in XNA, and I've just been stuck in Visual Studio for the last, like, week, and it's going to continue for the next fortnight. And it's, like, it's at the stage where things are, it's going to be like 8 hours a day, 10, maybe 12 of work, so doing all that, and then managing, when I say that, also, like, we don't have sound sorted, we don't have art assets sorted, and we still have a lot of code and features and shit to do. So, yeah, I mean, it is going to hurt the video schedule. Normally the rule, my personal rule of the channel is 2 videos go up every day, and that is just how it goes. That's not going to happen. Well, I mean, it might happen. It just depends how things go day to day. I'm sure on the weekends I'll be able to get 2 videos up. But just in general, prepare for a little tiny bit of a slowdown. Warcraft Daily will, of course, always be daily, as long as there's something to talk about. So you're always going to be safe with that being a thing. Just, yeah, in about 2 or 3 weeks when all this is cleared up, then we'll be back onto the full schedule. So, let's move on to the questions. And the first question is, oh crap, I don't have names for these. But, yeah, question 1, do you think Blizzard will ever make a patch or maybe even an expansion about the Emerald Dream? What are your thoughts on that? I think I've covered this before ages ago, but basically, the Emerald Dream, all the issues with the Dream and the Nightmare have been sorted in the book Storm Rage by Richard Knack, so if you are interested in the Dream, it's probably worth reading that book. There really isn't a massive reason to go back there at the minute. In terms of it actually being an expansion, well, Metzen has essentially said no. I'm pretty sure it's Metzen. Basically, the problem with the Emerald Dream is, it's all forest. Like, the Emerald Dream is Azeroth as if nothing ever went and destroyed it. So, it's all forest. Because, well, in general, most sort of places that aren't deserts and shit like that have a decent amount of rainfall, like the majority of Azeroth, are forests. If you take, like, say, the British Isles, they were all forests until we came along. So, yeah, it would just be foresty. So, I think from an aesthetic point of view, it's very limiting in some regards. And, yeah, I don't know. I think it was Metzen who actually specifically said in an interview that that was one of their big problems, is it's very hard to differentiate zone from zone. And a lot of places would be similar to zones we already know, because it is essentially just a carbon copy, landscape-wise, of Azeroth. Okay, maybe the Cataclysm changes wouldn't have happened, but still, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be terrifically boring. No, it wouldn't be terrifically interesting, it would be, I suppose, rather boring. Now, as a patch or a raid or something like that, I think absolutely. There could be, say, I don't know, N'Zoth in the N'Zoth expansion. I think that could work, because N'Zoth is the guy behind the Emerald Nightmare. Well, perhaps N'Zoth starts another assault on the Emerald Dream during that expansion, and we have to go and stop that. Perhaps that could be fun. I think, like, that's a really nice way to get the Emerald Dream into a game in a way that makes sense, and doesn't just kind of overblow the whole thing. So yeah, that's what I think. And the second question is, what is your PC gaming rig? Well, the reason I've chosen to do this one now is because I just upgraded it yesterday, and I have some planned upgrades for Christmas, because, woohoo, parents and stuff. Right now, I have an Intel Core i5-3570K. I haven't overclocked it yet, I probably should at some point. Although I kind of want to get an i7 for rendering, so there's that. My motherboard is an ASRock Z77 Extreme 4. Again, that would be upgraded along with a new CPU. There's that. My power supply is a Corsair 750 TX. It's a very, very good, just nice, solid power supply. I have 8GB of Kingston HyperX RAM at 1600 MHz, but honestly, I think I'll really be due an upgrade with that soon. I know DDR4 is coming soon, but the new kind of DDR of RAM is never really as good until a year or two after launch. So there's that. Graphics card, I have two 670s. I used to have one, and I saw on the deal scan.co.uk, a 670 was reduced in price, so now I have those in SLI, which is great because in combination they are essentially more powerful than a 780 Ti, which is the most powerful graphics card in the world, like the most powerful single core. Not single core, like just single, GPU. So this is all very nice. It means I can play like Battlefield 4 max settings at, I think it's about 90 frames a second, which is quite nice. In terms of other things, I have a terrible feeling I've missed some sort of component or something in there, which is really embarrassing because I made the damn thing myself. Oh, my case is an NZXT Phantom 410. It's a nice enough case, but I think eventually, at some point, I'll be just making... I really want to mod a case or something like that over the summer. I think that would be fun. Peripherals-wise, I'm using a Razer Black Widow Ultimate. I think it's the 2011 one, it's the first model. And you know what? It's solid as hell. It's a nice keyboard, and I love Cherry MX Blues. I know that eventually I'll have to move away from Blues because of the sound they make, but I'll be sad when I have to because they just feel so tactile and great. For a mouse, I am using a Razer Naga, the 2012 version, so the first one that had the green lights. The Naga's my favourite mouse, I just love it. I think it's fantastic in every way. For a mouse mat, I'm using a Razer Goliathus, extended edition. That's the big one. It's about 2 keyboards wide, and it's just nice because it's one big mat, does your whole table, and it also like functions as a kind of semi-wrist rest. It's just nice, I love it. For a desk, I'm using IKEA Galant, the one of the larger ones. It's nice, lots of room. For my microphone, I'm using a Rode Podcaster with a Rode PSA-1 suspension arm, and then I'll be getting a Rode spider mount for it soon. In terms of, oh, I forgot to talk about my hard drives and disk drives and shit. Right now, I don't have a good setup. I've got a 240GB SSD for my main SSD for like operating system programs, that kind of thing. I have a 2TB hard drive for games and just any source media. But now this is, for the vast majority of people, this is a really nice disk setup. But for me, and the fact I'm using Premiere Pro and rendering and all that stuff, actually at Christmas I'm getting another 240GB SSD to be exporting files to. Well, something like that. And I'll be getting a 3TB Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM drive, which is quite nice. I would have ideally liked a Western Digital Black, but they're nearly double the price. And I still have to think a little bit about economy. Basically what this means is that Premiere Pro will be running off one SSD, exporting files to another SSD, using I don't know, I'm not really too sure what I'll be using as a page file and scratch disks and stuff like that, and they'll be taking source media from the faster 3TB hard drive. Overall, this should help to improve my encoding time, which will be lovely. But yeah, that is that's my video setup. Anyway, I'm afraid I kind of have to run off here and encode this video and then get to work. So, yeah, stay tuned. If you liked the program, or it's not even a program, I don't know, if you like this random shitty video, then please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.